What's going on, everyone? It's Tay, aka Slay, and it's time to get into that good today. I figured since I told y'all about the office creep, it is now time for me to tell you about the office crush. This is a guy that I crushed on for at least a year at my old job. And I'm going to be saying his actual name, just first name, in this video because he don't care. If he ever sees this video, he's not gonna care. I haven't talked to him in almost a year. Like, I'll tell y'all all the tea, but he is living his best life on a lake in upstate New York. He is not worried about what Tay Desiree is doing out here in LA. You feel me? So let's jump right into it. This person, his name is Jared. I actually do not remember when he started working at the job, but I remember the first time I noticed him. He was so out of place because a lot of the guys in our department, first of all, when I first started working at this job, there was like maybe 3 guys and the rest were women. Over time, it became more men and the number of women stayed constant. But I remember the first time I saw him, I didn't think he worked in my department because every dude that I thought was hot, and there weren't many of them at this job, worked in some other department. There was this dude, he was absolutely beautiful. It's a different guy. This is not Jared. And he worked in a department that sat diagonal from where I was. And we called him Pretty Boy because that's exactly what he was. He had this long, wavy hair. Well, not long. I want to say it stopped like right above his ears. It was curly and dark, and he had this $1 million smile. But I never, this was New York, so people didn't talk. If you didn't have a reason to talk to somebody, they just didn't talk. I think I may have spoken to him a couple of times, and my heart pounded out of my chest each time, but there was no real communication, no opportunity to get to know each other at all. So let that go. Anyway, so when he first started working, like I said, I didn't think he worked in our department, and then I kept seeing him in the same seat every day. I was like, oh, I guess he works here. But that was when my company was situated on the 10th floor of the building that I was in. I think I'd been there maybe 6 years, and then we moved down to the 6th floor. And I actually just saw this post on my Facebook memories where I said the universe has a sense of humor. My office crush is now sitting on my side of the office. And I was like, oh, well, at least I have something pretty to look at all day. Now, let me tell you about this man. This man was gorgeous. Gorgeous, let me tell you. If you follow me on any of my social media or you're my friend in real life, you know who my faves in Hollywood are. And all of them have something in common. They are all brunettes with blue eyes. Don't tell me why it's like that. It just is. It started with Joey McIntyre and New Kids on the Block. Then it became JC Chasez on the Mickey Mouse Club, later a member of NSYNC. And that's just the way it's been. Let's run down the list. Chris Evans, Henry Cavill, Zac Efron. He did bleach his hair, and I hope he never does that again. But he said he only did it because he lost a bet. Anyway. But that's what I like. I have a weakness for brunettes with blue eyes. And that's what he, like, do you remember, like, that Dirty Pop era of NSYNC where Justin shaved his head and everybody's panties got wet? Like, that's what he looked like. He had the shaved head, these big, bright blue eyes, a smile that could melt an iceberg. And not only that, he was a sweetheart. He was soft-spoken and really chill. And, like, whenever he came to give me work to do, we always made jokes. Like, he was such an awesome guy. At first it was just physical attraction, but then once I started talking to him more and more, it was like, oh, he's genuinely a good dude. I told you guys about him a little bit in my story time about the night I decided to no longer date in New York, but he had a girlfriend. I'd actually seen his girlfriend once before that, when another person was leaving the office, and we all went to, I think it was Buffalo Wild Wings, for her going away party, and he came later than everybody else, and he had his girlfriend with him. And that was the first time I saw her, and I was like, oh, okay, she was cute. She was really cute. And she was a dark skin. I believe she was Indian. I could be wrong. But she was a gorgeous woman. Very gorgeous. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, he's not afraid to step outside of that box then. Awesome. But he had a girlfriend and we respect relationships over here. So I just let it be that he's something pretty to look at this disastrous ass job. I told you guys about him in the last video where I had gone to lunch with Lupin and he asked me about that. And I got a little excited because, like I said, it's like, oh, he's clocking my moves. The first time my heart really jumped because of this dude. At my old job, we had a system set up where faxes and emails would come into my Outlook inbox. And then I would read the emails and see what team or what person in my department to forward that document to. So I had sent documents over to his team. And a couple days later, I know everybody was really busy, so it might have taken him a couple days to open those emails. But he was like, hey, is this the same document? Because I had sent 2 emails over to his team and there were 3 documents. 2 documents in the first email and another document in the second. And he was like, hey, these 2 documents look alike. Did you send this email twice? I was like, no, they're 2 separate emails. Maybe the sender sent it twice, just to be sure. Maybe they didn't know if it went through the first time. He was like, yeah, I can definitely see that. Now, remember when I said in the last video that Lupin had asked me why I didn't wear my natural hair out? This was around that time where I was wearing my natural hair out. And in Jared's reply to my email about maybe they sent it a second time, he said, by the way, this hairstyle is it. This is the best look. I couldn't breathe for about 3 seconds. I was like, I didn't know he had noticed me, other than, this girl who stuffs mailings for him, to actually compliment my hair. Wow. I actually told one of my friends about it and she was like, listen, you may need to scoop him up. Make sure he's not fetishizing you, because that is a thing. There are people out here in these streets who fetishize Black men and women and don't really appreciate them as people. She was like, but the fact that this white man complimented your natural hair, girl. And that's the truth. Like, again, we have this natural hair, natural style discrimination that states now have to create laws to ban. But he was out here like, no, this look is it. And I was like, anyway, but I had to remind myself he had a girlfriend, and that was the tea. So now we're getting to 2016 and my 34th birthday is coming up, and AJ and I are starting to plan our joint birthdays. If you don't remember, my birthday is April 2nd, AJ's birthday is April 25th. So we normally, because we had the same circle of friends and it didn't make economical sense or common sense to have 2 separate parties, we always combined our birthdays and had one joint party. So we wouldn't have to invite the same people to 2 different parties. And so AJ, I'm sure you all remember, loves him some Harley Quinn. So we decided to make it a Harley Quinn themed birthday. And we made it a classic Harley Quinn birthday, which means we asked our attendees to come in red and black. So I thought, why not just invite Jared? Why not? And he said he'd be down. I tried not to backflip down the hall. I was like, let's keep a handle on this, sis. But I was like, okay, well, he's gonna come and he's gonna have his girlfriend there. I want to get to know him. That's it. Just, he's gonna be a friend. That's all I care about. That's what I was telling myself. Anyway, so I think maybe a couple days after that, I decided to ask him about when he thought he and his girlfriend would be showing up to the party, because this was going to be a karaoke party. And I was like, oh, what time do you think you guys will be there? Do you think you're going to be singing or anything like that? Like, what type of songs do you think you guys would sing? And he was like, oh, well, I don't know, but I know she's not going because we broke up. Fireworks were going off inside me, but outside I was like, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Yes, I'm so sorry. That's literally how I felt. And so I was like, oh, okay, well, to myself at home that night, I was like, okay, so he's going to come to the party and I'm going to use that as my opportunity to tell him that I have a crush on him. I don't care what happens afterwards. I'm just going to tell him that I have this crush. That's it. That's all I need. That this is the opportunity I'm going to take. So he asked me about certain aspects of the party. He's like, well, I don't know if I have like red and black, things like that. And I was like, dude, just go to the store and get a red t-shirt and some black jeans. I'm not asking you to dress to the nines for this, you know? I mean, if you want to dress up for me, that's fine. And we started having actual conversations, like over the inter-office communicator. Like we would talk about, because of the party, like we started talking about cosplay and how I love doing costumes. And he was like, oh, that would be really interesting to see you in that. And I was like, oh, okay. Of course you want to see me in my Jessica Rabbit cosplay. And I learned about his interests and things that he liked, and there was an actual exchange of information, and I was psyched. But in the back of my head, I'm like, this dude normally doesn't talk to me unless I initiate contact. I don't like that, but whatever. I was forging ahead. A week before the birthday party, you know how you create an event on Facebook and people usually RSVP there with going, maybe, can't go. He had selected can't go. And I was like, wait, what? What's going on? He had acted like he was going the entire time. And we had sent out the invites at least 3 weeks before. Like, what's going on? So I asked him, I was like, I see that you selected can't go. What's going on? He proceeds to tell me that he is leaving the office. He's still going to work for the company, but he's going to be working from home full time. And not only will he be working from home full time, he is moving from New York City and moving upstate. It sounds, and even looking back at it now, like I can't believe I felt so strongly about this. I wept at my desk. Like, I remember hitting up one of my friends on Facebook Messenger and telling them about this. And I sent him a picture of what I looked like. And he's like, darling, I am so sad for you. I'm sad that this is tearing your heart apart like this. And I'm like, he could have told me. I knew he was doing something when I saw him getting a company issued laptop. He really could have told me a couple of weeks ago, hey, I'm not going to be able to make it, but this is this, and this. And I was like, he didn't care. That's how I felt. I was like, he didn't care enough about me to tell me, hey, this is the tea. And he waited until a week before. I was devastated. You hear me? I was devastated. I was fucked up for the rest of the week. I could barely look at him. And I tried to make the rest of the month, a good one. I tried to talk to him whenever I could. I remember I wore a dress to the office, this really pretty red dress. And he slid up to me and he was like, you look nice today. I was like, thank you. Oh, God. And then when he left, it was just like, I now have no more eye candy. Like, what is the reason? I was so upset. Oh, my God. But I would still see him online and he would still, email me work-related things. So I started trying to talk to him on a personal level on the inter-office communicator still. And that went on for a while. I actually tried to wean myself off of speaking to him. Again, still hey, I know this person only talks to me when I initiate the conversation. So let's not. I think I went maybe a month after he left the office before I reached out to him again. The thing that made me just completely give up on this dude was when I went to New York Comic Con for the last time when I lived in New York in 2016. It was a great time and I did some of my best cosplay at that convention. I cosplayed Storm, I cosplayed Jubilee from X-Men, and this particular day I was cosplaying Mera from Aquaman. And I loved that cosplay. I actually want to redo it, you know, update a little bit. I had my crown, I had, you know, the scale leggings, I had the red wig on, and I had this low cut green leotard. I'm like, the titties were out, trying to say hello. And I sent him pictures. I sent him pictures through Facebook Messenger. He could not have given any less of a fuck. He did not care. Granted, it was a work day for him, but still, he couldn't care less. I was like, you know what? I'm done. I don't need... He's obviously in no way interested in me as a person, in me as a potential romantic partner. Let me let this go. And I did. And a couple weeks later, I got back in contact with the man who is now my ex. So I let all of that go. I completely forgot about Jared, and I moved into this new relationship with my ex. Then that relationship ended. I remembered, because I had actually talked about moving to California with Jared when he was still in the office, and a little bit after he left. And after the decision was made, it was basically set in stone, I reached out to him again. I was like, hey, listen, this is the tea. You know, I caught him all the way up. I was like, my biological mother died in September. My mother died in December. My dude told me he'd been cheating on me almost the entire time we've been together in February. So he was like, oh my God, I'm sorry. And at this point, we're talking, and I got a little hopeful again, because in the middle of the night, one night on Facebook Messenger, he sent me a link. Jared was a SoundCloud rapper. By the time I had reached back out to him, Jared had become a SoundCloud rapper. And I actually liked his flow, okay? Like, I let some of the other people in the office listen to it, and they tried to clown him. I was like, I actually like his flow. That could have been me being biased because I liked him, but I actually appreciated it. So I listened to it multiple times. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning, and he was like, I know my city people don't sleep, so I need some feedback on this track. And I gave it to him. And I was like, I mean, he probably sent it to every single person he knew that lived in New York City while he was upstate. So I probably shouldn't have felt special. But I enjoyed it. And I talked to him about it. I hyped him up. And there was one point where I told him about me moving, and he was like, you know, I'm thinking about moving to Cali myself. Maybe I should. I was like, oh, really? He was like, yeah, everything I love to do is out there. Like, he's outdoorsy like me. Like, he loves to hike. He loves to go to the beach. He loves to fish. Like, that's why he chose to live on a lake. He loves to ski. So he was down with that. My dumbass convinced myself that I had convinced him to move to California. And then I just decided that I just didn't need to keep trying to claw at this person. Like, I just... He's not interested, sis. Like, let it go. So I stopped sending him messages, and that was it. I actually did not talk to him until my last week at my last job, right before I moved. Just to be like, hey, my apartment's packed up and my last day is this day and I'm out. Just wanted to say goodbye. And he was like, oh, wow, that's amazing. See you later. That was the last time I spoke to him. So the last time I spoke to him was July of 2019. After I got out here, I went through Facebook and I unfriended him. Like, I did a general Facebook purge. I'm like, if I don't interact with these people, they don't really bring anything to my life either way. I just need to let him go. And I did. I unfollowed him because, unlike my ex, I've never ever had the desire to look at my ex's Facebook page and see what's going on in his life. I really don't care. With Jared, I know I would. I would like, is he still working for the company? Is he still in upstate New York? Is he smashing some hot young thing on the regular? I kind of want to know. But do I really? I don't think, with as lonely as I've been feeling lately, I really don't think my heart could take seeing him standing next to another beautiful young woman. So it is for the best. It is for the best that I leave that alone. I hope that he is living his best life. I hope that he does exactly what he wants to do in life. I wish him no ill will at all. I do wish that we had been a thing, because I was really into him for several reasons, but for reasons that only he knows, he just wasn't feeling your girl, and that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. What am I to do? Move on. And that's where I'm going to end the video today. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. All of those good things. I know there are a million videos you could have watched today. I humbly thank you for coming to Slay.